Up to now, Becky, you've been teaching one person at a time, but you'll also teach clients in small groups. That's why I asked you to go and observe some group teaching in action. What did you think?
Well, Greg, I saw a lot of clients learning a lot of different things.
Why do you think we teach in groups?
There are a lot more clients than staff, so it's not always possible to teach one-to-one.
Good point. And often you're the only teacher for several people.
Well, sometimes it's more normal to be in a group, like at meals, and in leisure activities and at work.
That's right. And done well, teaching in small groups can be a more efficient use of your abilities.
I'm all for that.
Today we'll talk about what makes group teaching successful when you're teaching by yourself and when you're teaching with someone else.
Sounds good, Greg.
When we get done, you should have an understanding of how to group clients, how to select a teaching technique, how to arrange seating, how to arrange materials, and how to involve clients. You'll do some group teaching, and we'll discuss some variations of group teaching using two staff.
So first I'm going to learn about how to group clients.
Right. We try to make sure that clients with similar skills and abilities are in the same group.
Why?
Because it's harder to teach clients who have different skills and abilities. It's more demanding on the teacher and the learners.
Like having a classroom made up of students from different grades.
Certainly.
That would be pretty tough.
You might group clients on the basis of how well they can do a task or how independently they work.
So maybe one group has people who work independently and another group has people who work less independently.
Right. Next, let's look at how to select a teaching technique.
Teaching technique? What do you mean?
Technique, like having everyone working on similar tasks or having everyone working on different tasks.
Could you explain that?
You might have each person in the group working at something different.
Like one person is putting on stickers and another person is sewing and maybe another person is sorting cans?
Exactly. That works well with people who are fairly independent at their task. By independent, I mean the person can do each step of the task on their own.
So each person knows what to do.
Right. An advantage of teaching a different task to each person is that you can supervise more than one activity.
It's harder to supervise people doing different things.
Sure it is. And when clients don't get enough supervision, they get bored and frustrated. The result is a lot of disruptive behaviors.
So when clients aren't skilled at what they're doing, we need a different technique.
Right. When clients aren't skilled at the task, you teach each person in the group something similar.
Like on an assembly line?
Sure. You could have each person working on a different stage of assembling a hospital kit. Or you could have each person working on the same task.
Like each person sorting cans?
Yes. This even applies to mealtime, where you teach eating skills, and it applies to teaching grooming, where people are learning to brush their hair. It applies to recreation and leisure activities as well.
Aren't clients frustrated by everyone doing the same thing at the same time?
Not when the task is challenging. Advantages to teaching similar tasks are that it works well with most people, skilled or unskilled. Basic job skills can be taught with everyone learning the same thing, and the more skilled learners serve as models for the less skilled learners.
So clients learn from each other.
Sure. One client may respond correctly after seeing another client respond correctly and get reinforced.
Sounds as though teaching similar tasks would be less trouble to supervise, too.
It is, and it's easier for a new staff person to learn what to teach.
There's only one task for the staff person to learn instead of several. But there must be some disadvantages.
There are. There's potential for boredom, since the activity might not challenge all people equally. But if people are grouped according to ability levels, and the tasks are changed frequently, this isn't a problem.
Then it sounds like teaching similar tasks is the way to go.
It all depends on the ability levels of the clients. And remember, you can start out teaching similar tasks, and as people become more competent, move on to teaching different tasks.
So once I know what kind of teaching technique I'm using, what's next?
You're ready to arrange seating.
I decide this by myself?
It's best to involve clients in decisions about seating arrangements, work schedule, break schedule, and so forth.
Because that gets their cooperation.
Right. No matter what seating arrangement you use, make sure that clients aren't crowded, that they have elbow room and defined work areas.
How do I define a work area?
You can outline a space with tape or put down a blotter pad. That will define the work area for the client.
So that way the client knows his space.
Right. Usually clients sit rather than stand. Make sure clients are seated up to the table and facing the materials.
That way each person can comfortably concentrate on the task.
If you're teaching a different task to each person, you'd have separate work areas.
Like each person seated at a different table or desk?
That way, people are less likely to distract each other, and you can give concentrated help to one person without disturbing someone else.
How far apart should work areas be?
Far enough apart so that clients don't interfere with one another, but close enough together so that you can get to each person easily.
What if each person is doing a similar task or working on parts of the same task?
In that case, seat people at the same table. That way you can get to each person quickly to assist them and to help in case of problems. You also want people to be able to see and learn from one another.
I've seen different kinds of tables used for group teaching.
If you have a rectangular or round table, clients are comfortably seated and you stand and move around the table as needed to help each client and to prevent injury. The kidney-shaped table is designed for the clients to be seated on one side and for you to be seated on the other. That way you can help clients without having to stand and move around the table.
What about when I teach leisure activities?
Depends on the activity. Sometimes you can use one of the seating arrangements we've discussed, but sometimes you want the clients to focus their attention on you, like in a discussion or speech program.
Or in a leisure activity like singing?
Seat clients in a semicircle when their attention is to be focused on the teacher.
So whatever seating arrangement is used, I should remember to seat clients comfortably and be in a position to help.
Exactly. Next, let's look at how to arrange the materials on the table. You want to avoid clutter.
Because cluttered areas are distracting.
If you have extra supplies, have what you need available on a separate table.
Okay. That way the stuff's there when I need it, but it's not in the way.
Yeah. Next on our list is how to keep clients involved in the task. A very important point to remember is make sure the task isn't too difficult for the client.
What do you mean?
Well, you're doomed to failure if you give a client a task that's too complicated. Clients become bored and frustrated by tasks that are too difficult. Match the task to the person's abilities.
How do I do that?
Simplify the task. Break it down. Instead of having the person put together an entire flashlight, a complicated 10-step process, have the person do fewer steps, like putting the batteries into the flashlight.
I need to break the task into manageable steps so the client has a chance to succeed.
Exactly. Another way to keep clients involved is to rotate your attention frequently to each person in the group. Now, with skilled people, frequently may mean once every 5 minutes. With less skilled people, frequently will mean more often.
What am I doing when I'm rotating attention?
You're verbally prompting people for what to do next.
Like saying, John, put the batteries in the flashlight.
And reinforcing people for what they're doing right.
Like, John, good work.
Right.
What do I do if someone leaves the group?
One reason people leave the group is because they're bored. If that happens, reinforce the people in the group more often for what they're doing right.
That way the person who left the group will want to return.
You've got it. Well, that covers all the points. Are you ready to do some group teaching?
Ready and willing.
Let's go. Oh, good. The materials are here. You'll be teaching 4 clients to learn a sorting task. Some of these cans have labels and some don't. We want them sorted accordingly.
Well, the first decision is how to group clients, but it sounds as though that's already been decided.
It has. Each client is inexperienced and is just learning the task.
Well, since individuals are inexperienced, then each person learns the same task.
Right.
And since each person is learning the same task, everyone will be seated at the same table. This kidney-shaped table should work.
Fine. Why don't you set up the materials while I go get the clients?
Great.
Okay.
Good job, Gardner. Very good. Very good, David. Here's another one, Lyman. Can you put that in the box? Very good. Bill, this is wonderful work you're doing here. This is good, Bill.
Well, Becky, everyone is seated up to the table. There's a defined workspace for each person, and the table isn't cluttered. You're doing an excellent job of rotating your attention.
Thank you, Greg.
Keep up the good work.
Okay. This is excellent, Gardner. You've got yours all sorted. That's a very good job. David, this...
So, what did you think? What did you learn?
That I have to know the abilities of the clients before anything else. Once I know that, I can select a teaching technique.
What did you learn about setting up?
That the seating arrangement I use and how I arrange the materials is very important.
How did you keep clients involved?
By making sure the task was challenging, but not too difficult, and by rotating my attention, prompting and reinforcing frequently.
Sometimes you may be working with another staff member.
What do I do then?
You can either divide up into two smaller groups
And only have half as many clients to teach.
and maybe work on two different tasks.
Yeah.
Or one staff member can work with a larger group of clients while the other one works with clients on a different task.
For more individualized attention.
Yes, and that different task could be anything from personal care to social skills or leisure skills.
I understand.
Now you see how it all falls into place?
Yes, now I can see the importance of the points you covered.
It's easy to do group teaching when you know how to group clients, how to select a teaching technique, how to arrange seating, how to arrange materials, and how to involve clients. That's what determines your success. That's it for today. See you next time.
Okay, Greg.